Hello, punters, and welcome to the Leg Up Australia. We got a special edition Hong Kong counterpart over Skype, Adam Campton. Welcome, mate. How are you?
G'day, mate. Good to be on the podcast.
Mate, you look pumped. Thanks for putting on your brightest jumper for me as well, so I wouldn't miss you.
I thought I'd brighten up the mood with this lovely, I don't even know what you'd call it. I think it's like a coral red jumper.
Yeah, definitely coral red. Are you in isolation over there in Hong Kong?
No, we're not. No, but I am working from home at the moment. So this is my home I am in at the moment, and hopefully the nice bright jumper brightens up the mood.
Yeah, mate, it is. It's like a little bit of sunshine in all our lives, mate. You've done a fair bit you've helped us out quite a bit on the page. Obviously, there's a friendship that goes back a long time with all the boys on the leg up. So tell us what you're doing over there in Hong Kong and you know, kind of tell us what you do first, and then we'll get a bit of background on you in this industry.
So I'd come over here just over 2.5 years ago. Obviously a Sydney boy from Australia. Now live here in Happy Valley. I work for the Hong Kong Jockey Club. I look after young members and young owners, custom and wagering segment. So obviously my main job is to, look after our owners and members, but I do a lot of social media. I also do form and tips. I do interviews as well. So doing a little bit of everything at the moment, and definitely enjoy the role. And I did know a little bit about Hong Kong before I came here, and I always followed the racing. But since I've obviously come here now, I love the racing. I do love Hong Kong as a city. It's a beautiful place. It is tough at the moment, and it's a bit tough to miss your family that you can't get home and see them. But the whole world is going through that at the moment, and hopefully it all passes soon.
Yeah, mate. Well said. Well said. It's fucking crazy time. So you moved to Hong Kong how long ago?
I moved just over 2.5 years ago, August 2017.
Righto. So what were you doing? Kind of give everyone kind of your background into the industry, what you're doing previously, you know, just kind of bullet points on why you're here.
So young boy, obviously when I was younger, dad was a jockey and a horse trainer. My grandfather was a jockey, uncle was a jockey, stepbrother was a jockey. Growing up as a kid, I didn't really like racing, just because it was everything was racing. Dad was always out of the house, always at the track doing something. So as a young fella, I wasn't too into that. I loved my sport. I obviously loved cricket and rugby league the most. But as I got older, went through school, cricket and rugby league were always my favourite. But I think I hit about 13, 14, and I followed racing a lot more. I was always very close to Corey Brown as a jockey because he was an apprentice to my old man. So I always used to go to the races with him. And as I got older, I obviously understood the game a lot more. And I just fell in love with it. I remember like sitting in school and having a best bets in between like my maths book and stuff like that. And it was just all about racing back then. And once the bug hit me, it was just all racing. I then worked in the pub with the boys, obviously at the Quakers Inn for a bit. I started jockey management as well there. I then quit the pub, went and worked for Darley back then under Peter Snowden. I did that about 8 months, but it was really tough as I still worked at the pub for a bit, played footy and cricket. And I wasn't 100% committed to the racing at that point. When you're getting up at 2:45 every morning, you need to be 100% committed. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. So I think in that time I worked there in 8 months, I had about 3 or 4 car crashes. And I remember one of the bosses came up to me and said, mate, maybe go and continue playing footy and cricket for the time being, and then come back a little bit later on. So I ended up leaving a couple of months later, and I went back and worked for the pub for a bit, and I then became a racing manager for Timmy Martin in Sydney. I did that for a year and a half. Continued managing jockeys, which I didn't really enjoy managing jockeys. That was a tough job. Whinging jockeys getting the rides, and then you have to ring up on a Sunday morning when, of course, they can't make the weight for the next week, copying abuse off trainers, which it's not ideal. So then I did that, and then I think the one thing that probably got me to where I am today was going and working under Mark Morrissey at Bet Choice back then, now Unibet, pretty much taught me. As a young guy, you obviously think, you know so much about racing, but it's not until I worked under a bookmaker and he taught me a lot. A very smart man, and I guess I worked there for 5 and a bit years. So time went quick, and then I'm here now.
I've heard a lot of good things about the bloke at Unibet. So he started, what was it, Bet Choice, and then
him and Colin Tidy. Colin Tidy was Colin Tidy passed away not long ago. An incredible bookmaker who he'd take on anyone. A very well respected man. Him and Mark obviously teamed up. Mark was a mathematical genius, not just a mathematical genius. You'd ask Mark anything about science or carpentry, anything, animals, he would know it. He was a very, very smart man. Read a lot, but he was a feared bookmaker who he didn't care who you were. He'd take you on, but at the same time, he took everyone on, but he was a very smart man at the same time, and that's how he made his money. And then obviously sold the company to Unibet, continued to work under Unibet for a few years, and I've got no idea what Mark does now, but I'm sure Mark would be living a very happy life.
Yeah, mate, there's a few blokes like that floating around. As soon as they hit that cash, you don't see them again. Might pop up, see them at a carnival or something like that. Always good to have a beer with. But obviously we've had all our sports shut down over here. We've had a lot more focus on the racing. We've had numbers on all our podcasts, everything on the page. All the numbers are going through because everyone wants to know more about racing, and everyone that's in the racing is betting everywhere now, hence why we're trying to get some winners in Hong Kong on Sunday. Look, I want to ask you about the two main races. There's two Group 2s. We've got the Chairman's Trophy and the Sprint Cup. We might start with the Chairman's Trophy, and then I'll get you to give me basically your best bet for the day and a value if you've got one for us.
Perfect.
All right. Yeah, Chairman's Trophy. So your Group 2, 1,600 metres. Beauty Generation's in it. He won it last year. Where are we going?
Beauty Generation, obviously 8-time Group 1 winner, the champ, former Australian galloper. He's been our champion horse here for the past few seasons, an incredible animal, has been very, very well looked after by his trainer, John Moore. Zach and the horse get along so well. He is starting to come to the end of his career a little bit. In saying that, he did win back to his best over 1,400 metres last start in a Group 1, so he is coming off some good form. He's getting older, and he's not a horse that, he doesn't just win his races. He poleaxes his opposition by the way of going forward and then continue to go at a quick pace. It's not easy for horses to do, and he's continued to do that on hard tracks over here, which it does take its toll. He's a heavy horse. He's a beautiful horse, but we've got the young gun coming through the ranks, a horse that I had a little wager on to win the Derby last year, and he didn't get the best of rides. He got back to last and flashed home in Waikuku. He's now a 5-year-old. He won his Group 1 last start. John Size, Joe Moreira. I think a special horse on the rise, and I don't like riding off champions. I always respect champions, but I think this horse he's the fresh horse on the scene. He's a young horse, fresh legs. I think he's a special horse. He's 2 recent trials. He has had a little recent break since his last start effort, but he's had 2 recent trials to keep him ticking over. He's drawn perfectly. He will sit just behind the speed. Beauty Generation will lead, and he will give you a big kick at the top of the straight. But I think it's Waikuku's turn to beat Beauty Generation once again, and then obviously they will then go into the mile on Champions Day, which is on the 26th later in the month. But definitely Waikuku for me in the first of the Group 2 races.
Now, Joe Moreira has been on fire. I think he had a couple on Wednesday, but I think he rode 5 of the 10 last Sunday, including I think that last one in race 10 was a $19 shot over here. So he's
shining.
Yeah, so he is on fire. So, okay, Waikuku. So we're taking Moreira there. Now, there's one down the bottom. Now, the name has got me. It may have a few of my shekels on it. Tell me about Fat Turtle. Do you know anything about it? It's one of the best names I've seen for a horse. Frankie Law. Fat Turtle.
He's
Anything?
the Turtles loved over here, obviously because of his name. Former New South Wales galloper.
Yeah, right.
He's he's not up to, he's not probably, he's definitely not up to these two up the top. But in saying that, he was much better last start. He's a tough, consistent horse. Frankie's done a good job with him. He's definitely a horse that attracts a lot of the punters' names because of his name. But I'd be shocked if he was going to run past White Cuckoo or Beauty Generation. But if he did, I think there'd be a few fat punters getting aboard.
Yeah, I'll be one of them. No, look, I do like White Cuckoo. Watching Moreira, watched the full card last Sunday. Yeah, mate, I think you've got two gun horses, absolute champion, Beauty Generation going against White Cuckoo. Like you said, a 5-year-old kind of, not an up-and-comer, it's kind of already arrived. And with Moreira in the saddle, I think it's going to be an absolute beauty. So we're with White Cuckoo.
Probably the 5-year-olds over here, they come from other jurisdictions, being bought from normally, like these big group run races. They've come from overseas, so they haven't had as many runs as you would get as an Australian horse that's a 5-year-old, like 2, 3, 4, 5, and they've had their prep. So he's a young horse. He's fresh legs. There's obviously not as many races here as there is in Australia. So he's definitely a fresh horse, and he's been well looked after. If there's one that the punters want to have, if they're not into the two shorties, Flying Thunder is a very, very talented horse.
Yeah.
He's had a couple of setbacks, horse down the bottom. Frankie Law. If they did go hard, something pestered Beauty Generation, I would not be totally shocked if this horse flashed home over the top. Maybe second and third. And it would not shock me if he won.
$51 shot over here. Karis Teaton is the jockey.
Yep. He's ridden the horse before. The horse last season burst onto the scene. He won a Group 3, Group 2 race, and he won like a serious animal. But he sort of hasn't been the same horse. But never mind his last run. $51. I think he could. You'd probably get bigger on the day. So I think he could run a cheeky race.
Yeah, beauty. All right, mate. Let's head to the Sprint Cup. We have Hot King Prawn is our Athero is our current favourite. John Moore, Zach Purton, what are you thinking?
Superstar. I think he's the best horse in the world if he does come back to prove himself. I remember seeing this horse before he had a race start. I seen him at the track work. He's a big, beautiful beast. He's a big chestnut, gorgeous horse. He has all the ability in the world. He probably has been rushed a bit, being a young horse. They tried to get him to the Group 1 in December in the International. He wasn't up to him. But in saying that, they did find a couple of issues out of that race. So I think his effort to run third in that race was a huge effort. He's had a recent break. He hasn't run since that race. He gets 119 in his back. His recent trial was outstanding. If he goes forward and they leave him alone, good luck catching him. I reckon he'll win by 3 or 4. Yeah,
right. Okay.
But I wouldn't be. I don't know what price they are in Australia. I haven't really looked, but he'd probably be around $1.70, $1.80.
Yeah, $1.60 at the moment.
Well, that's under the odds. He doesn't. I don't know who's setting them prices, but you probably should give him a little bit of a wind out. He's a young horse on the scene. He's taken on horses like Hot King Prawn, Mr. Stunning, who's a horse that we can't forget about. And then we've got Thanks Forever, who was enormous last start for John Moore. So these horses have had their runs. This horse is first up off a couple of issues. I'd be very shocked if this horse went around $1.60 on the day. I think he'll get out. And if he does get out, hopefully the leg up punters have a little something on him.
All right. So we're waiting, kind of watch it on the day, see it comes out. We're recording this on Friday afternoon. We'll have this up. We'll have this available earlier on the podcast, things like that, but we'll actually pop this video up Sunday morning. So we'll see what the price is at that stage. Theo Purton, it's looking good, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a special horse. I don't think that if he produces his best, there's no sprinter in the world that can get near this horse.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a pretty big wrap. All right, mate. Well, they're the two mainies. Give us your best bet and value bet for the TLU punters out there. Where else are we heading?
Obviously, Theo is one of my best bets. Hopefully, he gets out to 240 or 250 or something like that. But race 4, Number 5, Car Ying Excellence. Zach's on board, 1,400 metres on Sunday, 1,400 metres last start. Blake Shin rode him. He was beaten by a promising horse in the name of Junu Park. He ran second. He looked home. I still don't know how he got beat. But Zach gets on, barrier 1, Tony Cruz, horses rock hard fit, finds a okay race, winnable race. I think he'll get the job done. Hopefully he's not under the odds, but I think definitely if he produces what he did last start again on Sunday, he'll be winning that race.
Yeah, okay. Did you say number 5? Yeah, Car Ying Excellent?
Yeah, Car Ying Excellent.
I haven't quite got a price on it as yet, so the market.
No, there won't.
No,
I don't think there'll be any prices, but I'm tipping he'd be a favourite, hopefully around the $283 mark.
Yeah, okay.
I just think his last start effort was good. He's always shown nice ability. Tony Cruz has a good opinion of the horse. I hope they back number 2, John Size and Joe Marrera's Chairman Lowe, which they normally do, because I don't think he can win. So hopefully they have something that they back him, and Car Ying Excellent gets out a little bit.
I know we've been talking about, we've been giving Marrera a bit of a pump up, as I am quite a big fan, but Zach Purton, so far, I think the month of March, he had
20 winners.
20 winners. He is in sensational form.
20 winners, 77 rides. He's, I think, one of the most gifted jockeys in the world. Incredible jockey, very dedicated, does a lot of his form. Of course, Joe's a freak, but Joe can ride those light weights, which gives him a lot more opportunities when, say, Zach rides those horses, that go from, say, class 4 to class 3. They drop a lot in the weights when they get in those tougher company races. So Joe gets on board those horses when they can ride the 115, where Zach's minimum's pretty much 120, 119. He can't get down to ride ththose horses. Joe can ride 114, 113 sort of that time. So he does get a lot more opportunities. And I think Zach was about 12 or 13 behind Joe not long ago. To get back to where he is, I still think Zach will win the premiership and make it through on the bounce.
Yeah, beauty. Yeah, well, mate, you're kind of looking for that name
towards my fellow Aussie.
Yeah, and I think you guys have got quite a good friendship over there.
Yeah, he's a good mate. So I've known Zach for a long time. He's definitely matured since he was a young fella. So, he's got the world at his feet. He's one of the best in the world. So it'll be a good challenge, and it'll be good for Hong Kong racing too. Another ding dong battle between two freakish jockeys.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. He is absolutely flying. So, all right, mate. Have you got a value bet for the punters?
It's a tough car for value, because it does look one of those days where I think a lot of the favourites will get the cash.
That's not what we want to hear.
I'm going to take a little gamble on a horse that I have been having something each way on its last few starts. It hasn't had much luck. Elegir, race 9, number 9, Me Choi, Grant Vanderkirk. Horse had no luck whatsoever last start. He is going to be up against a red-hot favourite, Pinghai Bravo, Joe Marrera, John Size. He'll probably be $1.60, $1.70. Yeah, okay. Was good last start, but he is a bit one-paced. He's still going through his grades. He's still got a lot to learn. He was a bit fat last start, so he's obviously going to take a lot of improvement. He's a good horse, but I think Elegir is ready to win. He's down in the ratings now. He's got a lightweight on his back, barrier 5. I think if they go a little bit fast up top, I think he'll get to the outside and he'll rattle home. Grant Vanderkirk, for the Australian punters who don't really know him, South African jockey who has come over here and is airborne. Needs to stay out of the steward's room because he does get suspended a lot. But horses run for him. He's got a great set of hands. He's flying at the moment. So hopefully he can run a race for us at the big odds.
So what do you reckon we're looking at if it does open? We haven't got a price over here at the moment, but are we kind of talking 20s?
I'd say, yeah. It is a bit of a horse they have been missing in the market. 50s or something last start where he had no luck at all. He definitely should have run a place, but just got held up. I'd say, yeah, between, I wouldn't, probably around 15 to 1, 20 to 1. Anything over, I'd be saying, go a little bit harder in the place and then have something to win on it as well.
Mate, we're going to smash it.
The 20s into $1.80 from the Australian.
Yeah, from the leg up punters. Mate, thanks for doing this. I know you got a bit on. It's good to kind of hear, something a little bit. A lot of people are betting very far and wide at the moment. We've got a lot of people talking about Belarusian Premier League and esports and fucking all sorts of stuff. So I really appreciate you taking the time and giving some of our punters a bit of insight on kind of what goes on over there in Hong Kong. And also, next time they see your face pop up on the page, and also head over, look up Adam Campton on the Facebook, like his page, because obviously you'll get his videos and his tips as well, which are the ones we share. But yeah, next time kind of your face pops up on the page, they can kind of say, yeah, okay, I see where he comes from. I know he's part of the Hong Kong Jockey Club over there and what he does. So I appreciate you talking to the punters, mate.
No worries at all. It's probably a big opportunity for Hong Kong racing to get more fans than they already have at the moment, because I've even looked on Twitter and social media lately, and a lot of people are talking about Hong Kong racing as it's, so many jurisdictions in the world at the moment who will continue to race. So, and it is good on a Sunday afternoon when you're having a couple of lagers or a palmy at home these days.
Yeah.
It's good to flick on the channel and not just watch great jockeys and trainers, but there's a lot of quality horse flesh over here at the moment, and it's just after the Derby where we've seen Golden 60, obviously a superstar on the rise. It now comes into our older horses, time for them to step up and show the world how good they are.
Yeah, and mate, it's actually really easy to access it over here as well. We've got racing.com, which is a free to air, or it's a digital channel that everyone has. Anyway, I think it's 68 or 78 on your TV at home, so anyone can watch it. Before I let you go, so obviously you said that after this week it's leading up to, what are the next big races up there?
Well, we got the big next major big races is obviously the Champions Day, Sunday the 26th, 3 Group 1s. Staying race, got the 16, got the 12. These horses, obviously, we'll probably continue to talk about Athero, Beauty Generation, and Waikuku again, but then you've got Exultant, who will go around, who's one of our best days in Hong Kong. It looks his race. But, yeah, 26 Sunday, that's going to be a huge day. And it does have the 3 Group 1s, but it's also tracks on the undercard. There's some very nice young horses that a lot of the trainers do target those races. So it'll be a big day of racing, but obviously keep your eyes on Sunday because they're the massive lead-up races. But also, if a couple of horses do flop on Sunday, you've got to remember it's not their grand final, so they still have, 3 or so weeks till their big day. So a lot of horses will improve going into Champions Day.
All right. Well, look, if possible, we'd love to get you back on to go through the card then, get your tips and then, hopefully we get a few winners this week. And be good to know that they're, there's something more they're aiming at in 3 weeks' time. So, we'll have a bit of a chat in 3 and a bit weeks.
Perfect. Sounds good to me. Hope everyone puts on a clinic tomorrow and Sunday.
Now, for our next chat, are you going to go brighter jumper or are you going to just tone it down a little bit?
Might even wear a suit for you or something, Sam. As I know you're very, as I know, the leg up boys are very formal people. So,
we are. We're very
yes,
flash here, mate. We appreciate that.
I do realise that. I can see right now you're going red. So as well as this jump.
Yeah, I've just jumped out of the shower. I was rushing around getting the kid fed, mate. We've got lots going on here. When you're home, you're home. And that's what I've found the last couple of days when it comes to working from home. You get stuff all worked on at home, especially with an 8-month-old that knows you're home and wants the attention. So
want to work.
Exactly. Mate, I do appreciate your time. We'll wrap it up. We will talk in the coming weeks. We'll share this on the Facebook page. Like I said, head over, look up Adam Campton, give him a follow on Facebook, and, we'll chat in the next couple of weeks.
Thanks, lads, and thank you, Sammy. Good luck.
All right, brother. Bye.
Bye.